The day Earth changed forever started like any other. People went about their daily lives, unaware of the cosmic shift about to occur. It was a warm Tuesday afternoon when the first signs appeared. In New York City, office workers stared out their windows, mouths agape. Strange lights flickered in the sky, too orderly to be stars, too numerous to be planes. Within minutes, social media exploded with videos and theories. News anchors struggled to make sense of the unfolding events. We're receiving reports of unusual aerial phenomena worldwide, one reporter said, her voice trembling slightly. Experts are baffled by these synchronized light displays. As day turned to night across the globe, more people noticed the lights. They pulsed with an eerie blue glow, forming intricate patterns high in the atmosphere. Amateur astronomers excitedly trained their telescopes upward, capturing images that would soon make history. By midnight, it became clear this was no natural occurrence or military exercise. The patterns shifted, coalescing into massive shapes that defied earthly engineering. Governments scrambled to respond, issuing cautious statements urging calm. Dawn broke over a changed world. The shapes revealed themselves to be ships, enormous vessels that dwarfed anything humans had ever built. They hovered silently above major cities, their smooth metal surfaces reflecting the rising sun. Panic gripped some areas. People rushed to stockpile supplies, clogging roads in their haste to reach safer ground. Others gathered in town squares and parks, drawn by a mixture of fear and fascination. Military jets scrambled worldwide, forming protective rings around the alien ships. But the vessels made no aggressive moves. They simply waited, a silent challenge to humanity's position in the universe. At precisely noon GMT, the ships began to descend. One craft, larger than the others, lowered itself toward the United Nations headquarters in New York. Global broadcasts switched to live feeds of the event, watched by billions. A hatch opened in the ship's underside. A ramp extended, touching the ground with a soft hiss. Soldiers tensed, fingers hovering near triggers. Diplomats straightened their ties, trying to mask their nervousness. Then they emerged. Humanoid figures in sleek metallic suits glided down the ramp. Their movements were fluid, almost graceful. Helmets concealed their features, reflecting the apprehensive faces of the humans gathered to meet them. The lead alien raised its arms, palms outward in what seemed to be a gesture of peace. A collective sigh of relief rippled through the crowd. Perhaps this wasn't an invasion after all. A translator device activated, projecting the alien's words for all to hear. People of Earth, we come in peace. We are representatives of the Galactic Empire, a coalition of advanced civilizations spanning this sector of the galaxy. Murmurs spread through the assembled humans. An empire. Just how vast was this coalition? The alien continued, unperturbed by the reaction. For millennia, we have watched your species grow and develop. Now you stand on the threshold of a new era. We are here to welcome you into the galactic community. Cheers erupted from some in the crowd. This was the moment many had dreamed of. Proof that humanity wasn't alone in the universe, but others remained cautious, sensing there was more to come. The aliens' next words confirmed their suspicions. However, membership in the Empire comes with certain obligations. Your world possesses resources valuable to us. In exchange for protection and technological advancements, we require access to these resources. The UN Secretary-General stepped forward, her voice steady despite the gravity of the moment. And if we decline this offer? The alien tilted its head, the gesture somehow conveying amusement. Decline. My dear, you misunderstand. This is not an offer. It is simply how things are done. Earth will join the Empire. The only question is whether you do so willingly or not. A chill ran through the assembled humans. The aliens' words, for all their politeness, carried an unmistakable threat. Humanity faced a choice that would define its future. Submit to this galactic empire or face the consequences of defiance. As news of the ultimatum spread, reactions varied wildly. Some saw opportunity in joining an advanced galactic civilization. Others raged against the idea of Earth becoming a colonial possession. Debates raged in homes, bars, and parliaments worldwide. The aliens seemed content to wait, their ships a constant reminder of the decision humanity faced. They gave Earth's leaders 48 hours to provide an official response. As the deadline approached, the world held its breath. Would humanity bow to the Empire's demands? Or would Earth stand defiant, risking everything for its independence? The next 2 days would determine the fate of every man, woman, and child on the planet. The 48-hour deadline loomed over Earth like a storm cloud. In every nation, leaders huddled in emergency meetings, weighing their options. The alien ships remained in position, silent sentinels watching humanity's every move. In Washington, D.C., the U.S. President paced her office. Her advisors argued back and forth, their voices rising with each passing hour. We can't just give in to their demands, the Secretary of Defense insisted. It would be the end of our sovereignty. But can we afford to refuse? The Secretary of State countered. Their technology is far beyond ours. A war would be devastating. Similar debates raged in capitals around the world. In Beijing, the ruling party was split between those who saw opportunity in the Empire's offer and those who feared losing control. In Moscow, military leaders pushed for a show of strength, while economists warned of the potential consequences. As the first day drew to a close, a pattern emerged. Smaller nations, feeling vulnerable, leaned towards acceptance. Larger powers, confident in their strength, favored resistance. The world teetered on the brink of division at the worst possible moment. On the morning of the second day, an unexpected voice rose above the chaos. Dr. Amelia Chen, a respected physicist from Singapore, released a video that quickly went viral. I've analyzed the alien ship's energy emissions, she explained. There's something they're not telling us. The power required for their interstellar travel. It's far beyond what they're claiming they need from Earth's resources. Her words sparked a new round of discussions. If the aliens were lying about their needs, what else were they hiding? Suspicion grew, uniting humanity in a way the initial shock hadn't. As the final hours ticked away, world leaders convened in an unprecedented global video conference. The UN Secretary-General spoke first, her words carefully measured. We've heard from every nation, large and small. We've consulted our best scientists and strategists, and we've come to a decision. At the stroke of noon, exactly 48 hours after the ultimatum was given, Earth gave its answer. The Secretary-General stood before the alien representatives, her head held high. On behalf of the people of Earth, we respectfully decline your offer to join the Galactic Empire. A murmur ran through the crowd. The alien leader's posture stiffened, radiating disapproval even through its protective suit. You understand the consequences of this decision? It asked, its translated voice cold. We do, the Secretary-General replied firmly. Earth chooses to remain free. We are willing to negotiate fair trade agreements, but we will not submit to colonial rule, not from any Earth power, and not from you. The alien's response was swift and harsh. Then you leave us no choice. You have 24 hours to reconsider before we take action to secure what we need. As the aliens retreated to their ship, a mix of fear and determination swept across the globe. In every city, town, and village, people came together. They shared supplies, offered comfort, and prepared for whatever might come next. Militaries worldwide went on high alert. Weapons were distributed, shelters prepared. But alongside the martial preparations, a different kind of mobilization took place. Scientists and engineers worked around the clock, analyzing every scrap of data they had on the alien technology. In a hidden lab beneath the Swiss Alps, Dr. Chen led a team of brilliant minds from every continent. There's a weakness in their shielding, she announced, her eyes bright with discovery. If we can exploit it, we might stand a chance. News of the potential breakthrough spread, injecting hope into the grim preparations. People began to believe that maybe, just maybe, humanity could stand up to the Empire. As the new deadline approached, a strange calm settled over the world. Families gathered close, cherishing what might be their last moments of peace. But there was no panic, no mass hysteria. Instead, a steely resolve took hold. In homes and bunkers, on ships and in space stations, humans tuned in to a final broadcast from the United Nations. The Secretary General's voice rang out, clear and strong. People of Earth, we stand at a crossroads. The path ahead is uncertain and fraught with danger, but we walk it together, united as never before. Whatever happens in the coming hours, know this: we chose freedom. We chose to stand up for our home. And together, we will face whatever comes next. As she finished speaking, the alien ships began to move. The Empire's patience had run out. Earth's defiance would be answered with force. But as sirens blared and defense systems activated, one thing was clear: humanity would not go quietly into the night. As the Galactic Empire's ships loomed menacingly in Earth's skies, humanity's resistance efforts kicked into high gear. The world had never seen such a unified response to a threat. Old enemies set aside their differences, pooling resources and knowledge in a desperate bid for survival. In underground bunkers and secret mountain retreats, the brightest minds on the planet worked tirelessly. Dr. Amelia Chen's discovery about the alien shield weakness became the cornerstone of Earth's defense strategy. Teams of scientists and engineers from every nation collaborated, racing against time to develop weapons that could exploit this vulnerability. Meanwhile, military leaders coordinated on a global scale. General Maria Rodriguez, a respected strategist from Brazil, emerged as the unofficial head of Earth's combined armed forces. "We can't match their technology," she told a room full of grim-faced officers from around the world. "But we have home field advantage. We know every mountain, every ocean trench. We'll make them fight for every inch." As the military prepared, ordinary citizens stepped up in extraordinary ways. In cities across the globe, people transformed parks and sports stadiums into makeshift shelters and supply depots. Farmers worked around the clock to stockpile food. Retired engineers came out of retirement to help fortify key infrastructure. The Internet, still functioning despite fears of alien interference, became a vital tool for resistance. Encrypted channels allowed for the rapid sharing of information and coordination of efforts. Hackers, once considered criminals by many governments, now found themselves recruited to probe for weaknesses in the alien systems. In orbit, astronauts on the International Space Station became humanity's eyes in the sky. They worked tirelessly to track alien ship movements, relaying crucial intelligence back to Earth. Their reports painted a sobering picture. The Empire was positioning its forces for a global assault. As tensions mounted, an unexpected ally emerged. Dr. Yuki Tanaka, a xenobiologist from Japan, made a startling discovery. Analyzing data from deep space telescopes, she found evidence of other alien civilizations, ones that weren't part of the Empire. "There are others out there," she announced in a hastily convened press conference, "and not all of them agree with the Empire's methods." This news sparked a daring plan. Using repurposed satellite dishes and experimental quantum communication devices, Earth began broadcasting a message into space. It was a plea for help, a declaration of humanity's right to exist freely, sent out on every frequency scientists could manage. Days passed with no response from space, but the broadcast continued. On Earth, final preparations were made. In homes around the world, families huddled together, waiting for the storm to break. Despite the fear, there was a palpable sense of unity. Humanity had come together as never before, determined to face this threat as one. The Empire's patience finally ran out on a quiet Tuesday morning. Without warning, their ships began to descend. Energy weapons lanced down from the sky, targeting military installations and major cities. The ground shook with explosions as humanity's defenses responded, unleashing everything they had. In New York, London, Beijing, and 100 other cities, scenes of chaos unfolded. But amidst the destruction, incredible acts of heroism emerged. Firefighters rushed into burning buildings. Ordinary citizens helped strangers to safety. In the skies, Air Force pilots engaged in desperate dogfights with alien fighters, using every trick they knew to make up for their technological disadvantage. Underground, in a bunker deep beneath the Rocky Mountains, Dr. Chen and her team worked feverishly to finalize their secret weapon. Based on the shield weakness she discovered, they'd developed a device that could, in theory, disrupt the aliens' energy fields. But it had never been tested in combat. As the battle raged on, General Rodriguez made a fateful decision. "We can't wait any longer," she told Dr. Chen over a crackling video link. "We need to use the device now, ready or not." With trembling hands, Dr. Chen activated the weapon. For a moment, nothing seemed to happen. Then, a pulse of energy rippled out, invisible to the human eye, but devastating to the alien ships. One by one, their shields flickered and failed. A cheer went up from resistance fighters around the world as they saw the alien ships suddenly vulnerable. It wasn't a victory, not yet, but for the first time since the invasion began, humanity had hope. As Earth's forces pressed their sudden advantage, a new message came in from the space station. More ships were appearing at the edge of the solar system. Friend or foe, no one knew. But one thing was certain. The battle for Earth's future was far from over. With determination in their hearts and the fate of their world hanging in the balance, humanity steeled itself for the next phase of this cosmic conflict. The battle for Earth raged on, entering its third day with no sign of slowing. Smoke billowed from cities worldwide, but the planet's defenders fought on with grim determination. Dr. Chen's shield-disrupting device had turned the tide, giving humanity a fighting chance against the technologically superior Galactic Empire. In the skies above London, RAF pilot Sarah Collins banked her fighter jet hard, narrowly avoiding a blast from an alien craft. With the invaders' shields weakened, Earth's weapons could now damage their ships. Sarah lined up her shot and fired, her missiles striking true. The alien vessel erupted in a ball of fire, raining debris onto the Thames below. "That's for Big Ben, you bastards," Sarah muttered, thinking of the iconic clock tower now reduced to rubble. Meanwhile, in the depths of the Pacific Ocean, the submarine U.S. Defiant surfaced briefly, launching a volley of missiles at the underbelly of a hovering Empire battleship. Captain Miguel Ortiz watched through the periscope as the explosions rocked the massive craft. "Direct hit," his weapons officer shouted. The alien ship listed to one side, its anti-gravity systems failing. With a deafening roar, it crashed into the sea, sending massive waves in all directions. On land, the fighting was equally fierce. In the ruins of downtown Tokyo, a group of civilians turned guerrilla fighters used the city's complex network of tunnels and subways to outmaneuver Empire ground troops. Led by former video game designer Hideo Nakamura, they employed tactics straight out of the strategy games he once created. "Remember, hit and run," Hideo called out as his team ambushed an alien patrol. "Use the urban environment to our advantage." Their homemade weapons, enhanced with scavenged alien technology, proved surprisingly effective. The Empire's forces, unused to such unconventional warfare, found themselves constantly on the back foot in urban environments. As the battle raged on Earth, drama unfolded in orbit. The International Space Station, now heavily modified with makeshift weapons and shields, had become humanity's first line of defense against incoming Empire reinforcements. Commander Elena Volkov, her face streaked with sweat and grime, coordinated the station's efforts. "Another wave incoming," she shouted as her crew scrambled to battle stations. The station's jury-rigged laser cannons, built from repurposed scientific equipment, sprang to life. In space, silence reigned as beams of energy crisscrossed the void. Several Empire ships exploded silently, taken by surprise by the station's ferocious defense. But more kept coming. "We can't hold them off forever," Elena's second-in-command warned. "We don't need forever," Elena replied grimly. "We just need to buy Earth more time." Back on the ground, in the secret Rocky Mountain bunker, Dr. Chen worked tirelessly to improve her shield-disrupting device. Her team had managed to increase its range and power, but it still wasn't enough to turn the tide completely. "If we could just get this onto one of their main ships," she mused, "we might be able to take down their entire fleet's defenses at once." As if in answer to her thoughts, the bunker's communication system crackled to life. General Rodriguez's face appeared on the main screen, her expression a mix of hope and anxiety. "Dr. Chen, we got a crazy plan," the general began. "We've captured a small Empire scout ship. We think we can get a team on board their main command vessel, if you can miniaturize your device." Dr. Chen's eyes widened as she grasped the implications. "It's risky, but it just might work. Give me 2 hours." As Chen's team raced to modify their invention, a small strike force prepared for what could be a suicide mission. Led by Major John Hawkins, a seasoned special ops veteran, the team studied the layout of the captured alien craft. "It's going to be tight in there," Hawkins told his team. "But if we can pull this off, we might just save the world." As the strike team made their final preparations, a new development unfolded in space. The unidentified ships that had appeared at the edge of the solar system began to move, accelerating towards Earth at incredible speeds. Commander Volkov, watching from the space station, felt a mixture of hope and dread. "Let's pray these are the reinforcements we've been waiting for," she said to her crew. On Earth, in cities and fields, mountains and deserts, the battle continued. Humanity fought with everything it had, knowing that defeat meant not just the loss of their lives, but of their very freedom. As Major Hawkins' team boarded their captured scout ship, preparing to embark on their daring mission, the fate of Earth hung in the balance. The next few hours would determine whether humanity would fall to the Empire or live to see another dawn as a free species. With a final thumbs up to ground control, Hawkins fired up the alien engines. "Let's go make history," he told his team, as they lifted off, heading towards the heart of the Empire's fleet. The most crucial phase of Earth's resistance was about to begin. As Major Hawkins' team ascended towards the Empire's command ship, Earth's attention turned to the mysterious fleet approaching from deep space. In the UN's emergency bunker, leaders watched with bated breath as the newcomers drew closer. Dr. Yuki Tanaka, the xenobiologist who had first detected signs of other civilizations, worked frantically to decipher the incoming signals. Her eyes widened as patterns emerged from the noise. "They're responding to our distress call," she exclaimed, her voice a mix of excitement and disbelief. The UN Secretary-General leaned forward, hope etched on her tired face. "What are they saying, Doctor?" Dr. Tanaka's fingers flew over her keyboard, refining the translation. "They identify themselves as the Galactic Alliance. They say they've come to help us fight the Empire." A cheer erupted in the bunker, quickly tempered by cautious optimism. They had been fooled once by aliens claiming to come in peace. This time, Earth would be more careful. In orbit, Commander Elena Volkov and her space station crew were the first to make visual contact with the Alliance fleet. Unlike the Empire's stark, utilitarian designs, these ships were a riot of color and unusual shades. Some seemed to be made of crystal, others of something that looked like living wood. "This is Commander Elena Volkov of Earth," she broadcast, her voice steady despite her racing heart. "We welcome your assistance, but request you hold position until we can verify your intentions." The response came swiftly, in surprisingly good English. "Understood, Commander. We come as friends, but we respect your caution. We will hold position and await your signal." As diplomats scrambled to establish protocols for this unprecedented first contact, the battle on and around Earth continued to rage. The Empire, sensing the shift in momentum, pressed their attack with renewed vigor. In New Delhi, Indian defense forces fought a desperate battle to protect the city's ancient monuments. Captain Arjun Patel led a squadron of tanks through the narrow streets, using the urban terrain to ambush larger alien vehicles. As the Taj Mahal loomed in the distance, Patil gritted his teeth. "Not on our watch," he muttered, ordering another volley of fire. Meanwhile, in the skies above the Atlantic, a joint task force of fighters from a dozen nations engaged in a massive dogfight with Empire aircraft. American, Russian, Chinese, and European pilots flew side by side, their past rivalries forgotten in the face of a common enemy. Squadron leader Fatima al-Rashid, her Saudi Arabian F-15 streaking through the clouds, coordinated the Earth Force's efforts. "Form up on me," she called over the radio. "We'll hit them from multiple angles." For Earth. As the battle raged, Major Hawkins' team approached the Empire's command ship. Their stolen scout vessel, its systems hastily reprogrammed by Earth's best hackers, slipped past the outer defenses. "We're in," Hawkins whispered, guiding the ship towards a docking bay. Back on Earth, Dr. Chen watched their progress on a holographic display, her modified shield disruptor clutched tightly in her hands. "Good luck," she murmured, knowing the fate of the planet rested on this mission's success. In the UN bunker, leaders debated how to proceed with the alliance. Trust was in short supply, but so was time. Finally, the Secretary General made a decision. "We need their help," she announced, "but we negotiate from a position of strength. Tell them we accept their assistance, but Earth remains sovereign. We are allies, not subjects." As the diplomats crafted their response, a new crisis emerged. The Empire, perhaps sensing the turning tide, began targeting Earth's major population centers with a new weapon. Massive energy beams lanced down from their ships, gouging deep trenches in the planet's surface. "They're trying to make the planet uninhabitable," Dr. Tanaka cried, analyzing the data. "If they can't have Earth, they'll destroy it." The news galvanized Earth's defenders. In every theater of war, humans fought with renewed desperation. In the streets of Sao Paulo, in the deserts of Africa, in the icy wastes of Antarctica, people of all nations stood their ground. As Major Hawkins' team infiltrated the Empire's command ship, Earth teetered on the brink. The next few moments would determine not just the outcome of the battle, but the very survival of the planet. In space, the Alliance fleet waited, poised to intervene. On Earth, millions held their breath, watching the skies. And aboard the Empire's command ship, a small team of humans crept through alien corridors, carrying with them the hopes of their entire species. The fate of Earth hung in the balance, with victory, defeat, or total annihilation all equally possible outcomes. The next move would be decisive. As Major Hawkins and his team crept through the dimly lit corridors of the Empire's command ship, Earth's fate hung by a thread. The squad moved silently, their stolen alien armor allowing them to blend in with the ship's crew. "Almost there," Hawkins whispered, consulting the holographic map Dr. Chen had programmed into their suits. "The main shield generator should be just ahead." Suddenly, alarms blared throughout the ship. "Intruder alert," a mechanical voice announced in the Empire's strange language. The team's translator implants struggled to keep up. "They've made us," shouted Corporal Rodriguez, raising her weapon. "What now, sir?" Hawkins made a split-second decision. "We stick to the plan. Move fast, hit hard. For Earth." The team broke into a run, all pretense of stealth abandoned. They rounded a corner and found themselves face to face with a squad of Empire soldiers. For a moment, both sides froze in surprise. Then, chaos erupted. Back on Earth, the situation grew dire. The Empire's planet-killing weapon continued to carve swaths of destruction across continents. In the Amazon rainforest, Dr. Luisa Mendez watched in horror as a massive energy beam cut through the trees, leaving a smoldering trench in its wake. "We're losing too much," she cried into her satellite phone, relaying data to the UN command center. "The ecosystem can't take much more of this." Similar reports flooded in from around the globe. Ice sheets in Antarctica melted under the alien onslaught, raising sea levels worldwide. The Australian outback burned, and the Sahara turned to glass under the intense heat of the Empire's weapons. In orbit, Commander Volkov made a desperate decision. "We can't wait any longer," she announced to her crew. "Signal the Alliance. Tell them we need their help now." As Volkov's message was relayed, the Alliance fleet sprang into action. Their ships, so different from the Empire's, moved with an almost organic grace. They flowed around the Empire's defenses, their strange weapons flashing with multicolored light. On the ground, people watched in awe as new combatants joined the battle in the skies. In Times Square, New Yorkers cheered as an Alliance ship, shaped like a giant manta ray, swooped low over the city, its underside pulsing with energy that short-circuited nearby Empire vessels. Meanwhile, inside the Empire's command ship, Major Hawkins' team fought their way towards their objective. The narrow corridors echoed with the sound of energy weapons and the clash of hand-to-hand combat. Despite their inferior numbers, the humans' desperation and ingenuity kept them in the fight. "Almost there," Hawkins shouted, spotting the door to the shield generator room. "Rodriguez, plant the charges." As Corporal Rodriguez set the explosives, the rest of the team provided covering fire. Empire reinforcements poured in from both ends of the corridor, pinning the humans down. No time to set the timer. Rodriguez yelled over the din of battle. "It'll have to be manual detonation." Hawkins nodded grimly, understanding the implication. Someone would have to stay behind. "Get to the escape pods," he ordered his team. "I'll finish this." "But sir," Rodriguez began to protest. "That's an order, Corporal. Earth is counting on us. Now go." With heavy hearts, the team retreated, fighting their way back the way they had come. Hawkins turned to face the oncoming Empire soldiers. Dr. Chen's shield disruptor clutched in one hand, the detonator in the other. As his team's footsteps faded, Hawkins allowed himself a small smile. "Let's see how you like fighting without your precious shields," he muttered, activating the disruptor. The effect was immediate and dramatic. Throughout the ship, energy fields flickered and died. Alarms blared as systems failed across the board. The Empire soldiers advancing on Hawkins faltered, suddenly vulnerable without their protective fields. Hawkins didn't hesitate. With a silent prayer for Earth, he pressed the detonator. The explosion rocked the massive ship, sending shockwaves through its structure. In the chaos that followed, Hawkins' team managed to reach the escape pods, launching themselves into the void of space. As the Empire's command ship listed and began to fall from orbit, its destruction was visible from the ground. A cheer went up from Earth's defenders as they saw the massive craft begin to break apart in the atmosphere. The tide of battle shifted dramatically. Without the command ship coordinating their efforts, the Empire's forces fell into disarray. The combined might of Earth's militaries, aided by their new Alliance allies, pressed their advantage. In cities around the world, humans emerged from shelters to see Empire ships retreating, pursued by Earth fighters and strange Alliance craft. The planet-killing energy beams sputtered and died as their source was destroyed. As the sun set on this pivotal day, Earth had done the impossible. Against all odds, humanity had stood up to the Galactic Empire and emerged victorious. But the cost had been high, and the future remained uncertain. As the dust settled on the greatest battle in Earth's history, one question loomed large: what would come next? As the dust settled on Earth's greatest battle, a new dawn broke over a changed world. The remnants of the Empire's invasion force retreated to the outer edges of the solar system, their once mighty fleet now a scattered and demoralized shadow of its former self. On the ground, people emerged from shelters, blinking in the sunlight of a world forever altered. Cities lay in ruins, great swathes of land bore the scars of alien weapons, but a palpable sense of hope filled the air. Humanity had faced its greatest challenge and emerged victorious. In New York, the damaged United Nations headquarters became the center of Earth's recovery efforts. The main hall, its roof open to the sky from battle damage, hosted an unprecedented gathering. Human leaders sat side by side with representatives from the Galactic Alliance. Their diverse forms a stark reminder of the new reality Earth faced. UN Secretary General Amina Khoury, her voice steady despite her exhaustion, addressed the assembly. Today we stand at a crossroads. We have defended our home, but at a great cost. Now we must decide our place in a universe far larger and more complex than we ever imagined. As she spoke, screens around the hall displayed scenes from around the globe. In London, human and Alliance engineers worked together to clear debris from the Thames, using technology that seemed like magic to human eyes. In Tokyo, medical teams used advanced alien healing devices to treat the injured, saving lives that would have been lost days earlier. The Alliance ambassador, a being of shimmering energy barely contained in a humanoid form, stepped forward. "We offer Earth full membership in the Galactic Alliance," it said, its words translated by a hovering device. "Your bravery in the face of the Empire has earned you the right to join us as equals." A murmur ran through the assembly. The offer was tempting, but caution remained. Humanity had learned the hard way not to trust too quickly. Dr. Amelia Chen, now hailed as one of Earth's greatest heroes, stood to address the gathering. "We've seen the wonders your technology can achieve," she said to the Alliance representatives. "But we've also seen its potential for destruction. Before we make any decisions, we need to understand our place in this new galactic community." The debate raged for hours. Some argued for immediate acceptance of the Alliance's offer, seeing it as the best protection against future threats. Others advocated for a more cautious approach, fearing a loss of human independence and culture. As discussions continued in New York, the work of rebuilding began around the world. In the Amazon, Dr. Luisa Mendez led a team using a combination of Earth ecology and alien technology to restore areas devastated by the Empire's weapons. The sight of scorched Earth sprouting new growth in a matter of days gave hope to millions. In orbit, the International Space Station, now joined by Alliance vessels, became a symbol of cooperation. Commander Elena Volkov hosted diplomats and scientists from a dozen alien races, all eager to exchange knowledge with the species that had defied an empire. "It's overwhelming," Volkov confided to her second-in-command as they watched an Alliance engineer effortlessly repair damage that would have taken humans months to fix. "But exciting, too. Think of all we can learn." Back on the ground, the families of those lost in the battle gathered for a global day of remembrance. In a field outside Washington, D.C., a mother laid flowers at a memorial for Major John Hawkins and his team. Their sacrifice had turned the tide of the war, and now their names were etched in humanity's memory forever. As the sun set on this historic day, the UN Assembly reached a decision. Secretary General Khoury once again took the podium, her words broadcast to every corner of the globe and beyond, to the Alliance ships in orbit. After much deliberation, she announced, "Earth has decided to accept membership in the Galactic Alliance with conditions. We will join you as partners in peace and mutual defense, but we retain our right to self-governance. Earth will not be a colony or a protectorate, but an equal member of the galactic community." The Alliance ambassador bowed its shimmering form in acceptance. "We welcome Earth and its people to the stars," it said. "Together, we will build a future brighter than either of us could achieve alone." As night fell, people around the world looked up at the sky with new eyes. The stars were no longer distant points of light, but beacons of possibility. Humanity had taken its first steps into a larger universe, carrying with it the indomitable spirit that had allowed it to stand up to an empire and win. The road ahead would not be easy. There were wounds to heal, cities to rebuild, and a galaxy of wonders and dangers to explore. But Earth faced this future united, stronger for the trials it had endured. As the people of Earth drifted off to sleep, they did so knowing that tomorrow held infinite possibilities. The age of Earth's isolation was over. The age of Earth as a galactic power had just begun.